series of that's called Getting Battle Ready. The title of our message is Developing the Heart of a Warrior. And so today we're going to look at the importance of developing a heart for God because we're taking care of God's business. You know, when we become Christians and when we call ourselves Christians or believers, we automatically inherit an enemy, right? Satan. He doesn't like that. And so we're going to have to learn how to battle this enemy of ours. And we're going to have to learn that we need a certain kind of heart to handle this battle, because it's really crazy, you know. A lot of us Christians, we make light of this walk that we have with the Lord, and we don't take it seriously. And what happens is in a lot of cases that we get bust up, right? And then we get discouraged, and we're complaining about this and about that and stuff like that. But when we call ourselves believers, we need to understand that we are called to be problem solvers and not problem starters. You know? So that means that we need to be people who stop problems when we see it. Yeah, you know, you hear gossip, stop the gossip. When somebody's speaking in anger, calm that down and let the Spirit of the Lord get involved in this spirit of anger. Yeah, a lot of times what happens is that, you know, we hear somebody's story and he goes, yeah, I should have been punched in the face, right? Yeah, good for them and all this stuff, right? And that's not the Spirit of the Lord. That's not the heart of a warrior of God. You know, so today we're going to look at how we're supposed to be intercessors, if you would. You know, Jesus is the true intercessor, but we're supposed to be intercessors for other people who are trying to find their way with the Lord, and even for those who are with the Lord. We are to be the people that stand in the gap when there's a part of their life kind of messed up. We're the ones that's got to stand there and say, you know what, you can make it through this. You know, you got to behave different. You got to do this and so forth. And yeah, you know, they're going to get angry and frustrated, but you know what? We love you too much to allow you to sabotage yourself, right? So we got to realize this, because we have to help each other to realize that we are conquerors, right? That God created us as conquerors and that we are warriors of faith. And if we don't start to position our heart in the right place or in the right way, we're going to have a meltdown. Because the world is cruel. You know, and the devil is cruel, and his job is to destroy you, and he has no problem seeing you fall apart. That is the one sole purpose. Now, in our when we're reading or if we hang around with Christians, you'll find that we're constantly told that our daily walk as a believer is a battleground. How many of you guys have heard that? Right? You got to realize this. As a believer, your daily walk in life is a battleground. You know, a lot of Christians say, I wake up, I do my thing, and sometimes it's a good day, sometimes it's a bad day. No. You need to understand that when you wake up and you take that first step, you know, off that bed, you are entering a battleground. You're going to need to be prayed up. You need to have the right heart, because the enemy is going to come after you. I'm not saying you need to be afraid of the enemy. I'm saying you need to be ready for the enemy. Okay? And as believers in Christ, you need to understand this one fact, as I mentioned earlier, the devil wants to destroy you. He wants you to lose faith in God. He wants you to walk away from the Lord. Why? Because he hates you. He hates the thought that you will stand in his presence one day and he will never ever have that opportunity again. The scripture tells us that he was kicked out of heaven, right? He was kicked out of heaven and no longer will have the privilege of spending eternity in the presence of God. He knows what the presence of God feels like. We don't. Okay, I don't know what it's like to stand in the presence of God in the physical. I know what it feels like in spiritual form when I'm meeting with the Lord, right? But the devil knows what it's like. He's been there. And it's so good. And he doesn't want you to have any of that. He doesn't want me to have any of that. So we need to realize that we need to get ready, because this battle that we're battling is a spiritual battle. It's not a battle so much of what's going on right now. It's a battle of what's going to happen in the eternal part of this time. Right? Whether we're going to be spending eternity with the Lord or with Satan in hell. This is just the tools in which, or the opportunity in which the enemy has time to pull as much people as he can away from this truth. Now, there's going to be a lot of stuff happening in your life that's going to shake your faith, that's going to, really get you to the place and have you really figure out if you have the confidence in the God you serve. You see, we need confidence. And we're going to learn a couple things tonight, and we're going to learn from David. David is really cool. You read the story of David, and you read about his journey. You'll find that he had a really crazy journey, right? He went from sitting in palaces to hiding in caves. But I want us to get this now, because the devil's sole purpose is to defeat us, and we need to learn how to defeat him. Romans 8:37, this is a New King James version, says, "Yet in all these things we are more than conquerors through him who loves us." So the context of this scripture speaks of having a heart that understands that no matter what kind of bad stuff is going on in your life, that the love of God is dependable. Are you still with me? You see, we need to have this confidence. This is part of how we're going to start to build a foundation and become solid warriors of the Lord. Now, I love this that we're doing songs right now to explain this heart, because like I said, David, if you read the story about him, this was a shepherd boy. He was outside, with the flocks and having a great time. He was known to be a worshiper of the Lord, and created some instruments and stuff like that. And if you read his story, you'll find that this man, this boy who becomes a man, becomes a veteran of many different types of wars, both physical and spiritual. And he has this wonderful teaching that, if we are wise to glean, will teach us how to deal with the devil. Really cool, right? And because he has got his heart right before the Lord, he became victorious. Unbelievable. He became victorious. And he'll teach us how to deal with this scrub called the devil. Right? I want you guys to get this, because, as long as we are afraid to mention his name, or we think it's botchy, or, that we got to be afraid of him, we need to question our confidence of the God we serve. Some people say, why do you call him a scrub? Because he's a scrub. But bad things can happen. Yeah, he's a nasty, bad person, but I know the God I serve, and he's powerful. He has all reign and authority. We shouldn't be afraid of him. We need to be afraid of who God is and what he's capable of. And realize that he is the true authority. So let's look at the first gem that we can learn in developing a heart of a warrior. The first thing we need to do is learn to place our focus on our God and not our fears. Psalms 27:1. The Lord is my light and my salvation, so why should I be afraid? The Lord is my fortress, protecting me from danger, so why should I tremble? Really cool, right? Now, like I said, keep in mind, David used to sit at the table of the king. He used to sit behind the walls of the palace. And all of a sudden, Saul started getting jealous about David, and Saul becomes his enemy and chases him out. I mean, he actually goes to kill, David. So now think about it, from having the king as your best friend to your worst enemy. And so David goes into hiding, right? He's hiding for his life because King Saul wants him dead, because King Saul is jealous of all the praises that everybody's giving David, and he's not really seeing that the praises isn't about David, it's about the God he served. You see, Saul's heart for God is starting to slip away. Now, as David is going through this, he writes this wonderful story, right? He wants us to understand something in order for us to get to this place where our hearts are true warriors for God. And he's telling us there's two things we can do concerning how we handle these things that come into our life. How many of you guys going through something right now that's kind of sucky? Right? I mean, sucky where it's causing you to get angry, frustrated, even to the point where some of your joy is being just zapped right out of you. I mean, like we're going to say, I love you, Lord, but I love you, Lord isn't, I love you, Lord. Anybody with me? Right? But David has something for us today. He said we can let our fears steal our song, our joy, or we can develop the heart of a warrior by refusing to let our song die. We need to hear this again. We can either let the fear steal our song or our joy, right? Or we can develop the heart of a warrior for God by refusing to let our song die. You don't have to answer me, but I want you to answer this within your own heart. You can write it on your paper. How many of you would admit that your song changed? Because of your situation, because of what you're going through, your song changed. It used to be a joyful song. It used to be a song of adoration, a song of rejoicing, a song of love. And that song has changed. And although it has the words, I trust you, Lord, I love you, Lord, the heart is not connected. Still with me? You see, the only way to accomplish this heart for God, for our song to continue to sing the right way, is we need to focus on who God is and who He means to me. You see, too often we allow the things in our life, in this world, to cause us fear, anger, frustration, humiliation, and we start focusing on those things, and next thing you know, what is the next plotting thing that happens is, I must come up with a plan to make you miserable. Right? I want you to know that I want you to hurt. I want to irritate you. I want you to see who really has the power. You see, and what's happening is that we are taking a focus on allowing God to stand before us and fight for us. We talked about this before. How many times, did you guys check the Bible? How many times did, when there was a war, that the singers, the worshipers was sent ahead? Okay, just off the bat, we know the walls of Jericho, right? They started worshiping, walked around 7 times, they were like, Jesus is the Lord, right? Well, and God, Jehovah, right? And then they won the battle. We just read about this where the 3 kings came against King Jehoshaphat, and he says, you know what? The Lord says, you know what? Send the worshipers. He told the people to go to the front line. But he says, I don't want you to fight. I want you to worship and allow me to fight. How many of you are at the front line and you're fighting, and that is not what God told you to do? You see, spiritual warfare requires confidence. Sometimes we're not confident in waiting on the Lord's timing. We want to see justice, we want revenge, and we want it now. I've read the Bible, I'm not a scholar, but I've read it enough times to tell you when the Lord moves his hands, it is not a pretty sight when he needs to clean house. And he does a very good job. Proverbs 27:2-3 says, when evil people come to devour me, when my enemies and foes attack me, they will stumble and fall. Though a mighty army surrounds me, my heart will not be afraid. Even if I am attacked, I will remain confident. I love that. Right? He goes, even if I see them charging me, I'm not going to move. I have confidence. I started to think about this, and I was like, what would be something in the Bible that could help us to, kind of see what was going on? And the best thing I can think of that, kind of like would get me in the wow moment, would be the splitting of the Red Sea. Right? And the Lord says, I'm going to split the sea, and you guys are going to walk across. Well, there's a whole scenario that had to go on, and one, the Lord had to dry the ground because, if it's underwater, most likely it was all slush, right? But the Lord made it hard enough, right? Dried it enough to where he could travel without, getting stuck in the mud or the sand or whatever it was on the bottom of the Red Sea. I've never been down there. But the power of his hand to hold the waters apart so that the people could pass. And I started to think about that, and I said, man, that is what God is saying. Would you trust me enough to walk between these 2 walls of waters, and not one drop will touch you? You see, that takes confidence. That takes confidence to know that in the midst of all this stuff that's going on, all the pain that I'm dealing with, all the anger and frustration, all the confusion, I'm going to trust God has a plan for me. And I'm going to trust that no matter what is going on, any attack towards me will not prosper because the Lord said so. I am not trying to tell you that I have reached this place of not being afraid. I get shaken at times. We're kind of in a little place where we're like, oh boy. But one of the things we need to do is say, you know what? I trust God to take care of things. And when I say I trust God to take care of things, you know what that means? I'm being confident that God will handle it. And if I am confident that God is going to handle it, what I'm going to do is position myself to do whatever I have to do in my power, and then stand there even though it looks like I'm going to be barraged, and trust God to take care of the rest. You still with me? Yeah, a lot of times we go to the front and we go, I can handle this, I'll take care of it, I'll take care of it, and I trust God. But as soon as that people, that whatever situation that's rushing and get close to us, the first thing we do is what? Start throwing rules. Right? I ain't going down. You ain't getting me. And the Lord says, I wanted you to be still. You see, by us moving, it really speaks about the lack of confidence we have in the God we say we trust. We're not supposed to just not do nothing here. But we're supposed to do all that we can. And then when we say, Lord, I surrender, I give up, I give it to you, then we stand the ground that God has put us on, and we wait for victory. You see, I think that's one of the problems we have. We can't wait too long. We're impatient. Now, I love David's heart because he says, I refuse to let worship, his worship, be hindered by my circumstance. Now think about this. All this is going on, and he just tells us earlier, I love the Lord, I worship the Lord. Right? He's not going to allow the situations to steal his joy. You see, one of the things you need to know, and we talked about it previously, is the devil will look for the weakest part of you. What is your weakness? What is that one thing that keeps drawing you away from God? What is that one thing that makes you question if God loves you? Right? It can be anything. I don't know. You got to figure it out. Whatever it is in you that causes you to always walk away from the Lord, or doubt what the Lord is going to do, or doubt that God wants to use you, the devil's going to use that weakness. He's going to keep poking at it. Poking at it. There's nothing wrong with drinking. But if drinking is your problem, meaning you can get out of hand, you know that the devil's going to use that. But sharing your heart isn't a problem. But if you start gossiping, the devil knows that you like to be a gossiper. Guess what? You poke at the gossiping. If you're angry and hurt because of something, and you haven't turned it over to the Lord, you say, I can have it over, but you truly haven't, and you can tell if you haven't, because when the devil does that, it hurts. And when the devil does that and it hurts, you're going to know that that's a weakness, because the response to something hurting you is what? Anger. Frustration. I'll get you that. You can get it. So I want you to figure it out, because whatever is going on in your life, if there's a weakness, the devil is poking at it. And it's hard to become a warrior with a heart for God if you're too busy focused on your pain, on how you should be justified. And it's that shoulda, coulda, woulda stuff. You see, David, I love him because you read the story. This guy, he's amazing. Now, you know what I love about him? He does a lot of mess ups too. I like people who mess up, because then I don't feel so bad because I'm not perfect. Right? But this guy does a lot of dumb things. But he knows the secret to winning the fear game. And that secret was to completely put his focus on God and not on the things that's going on before him. Right? Whatever's causing you fear again, the enemy is going to use that to distract you. And I want you, tonight to just make a soul promise between God. Says, Lord, I release the spirit from you. I give it to you. I'm confident that you're going to be my defender. I'm confident that you're going to be my avenger. I'm confident you're going to restore me. I am confident that you are going to continue to raise me up in the high places. You called me a holy royal priest. And therefore I stand with my shoulders kicked back and my head tall. And I will not speak those angry words, or think those angry thoughts. I'm going to take all that and I'm going to reverse it around and I'm going to sing praises of worship. I'm going to glorify you, Lord. I'm going to let myself know, I'm going to let heaven know, and I'm going to let the devil know that you are worthy to be praised. Remember, we talked about this last week. What stuns the devil? What cripples the devil? Worship. He cannot stand it. When we worship God, it irritates him. So if you would, let's use reverse psychology. Let's make him as miserable as he's trying to make us. And let's worship the Lord. Let's stun him with a taser of worship. And let him get unfocused as we stay focused on the things that God has called us to do. You see, if we're going to have a heart of a warrior of God, we need to learn to be confident in His strength and not our own. And not even in other people. Right? I mean, there's power in the body of Christ and the unity of Christ. That's cool. But each of us must have this confidence and understanding that all authority rests upon Him. And He is my one source that I run to in my time of need. And I want you guys to understand this. We talked about it last week, right? And we're going to hear it tonight again. The Lord loves to hear from us. He loves to hear us say, Dad, I need you. And His desire is to run to us. Right? Our second gem is developing a heart of the warrior of God is practice unbroken fellowship with God. Psalms 27:4-5. The one thing I ask of the Lord, the thing I seek most, is to live in the house of the Lord all the days of my life. That is stinking crazy. Right? That is heavy. This is what He's saying. Right? He's crying out. He's saying, the one thing I ask of the Lord, the thing I seek most, is to live in His house all the days of my life, delighting in the Lord's perfection and meditating in His temple. For He will conceal me there when trouble comes. He will hide me in His sanctuary. And He will place me out of reach on a high rock. You guys should be screaming hallelujah. Right? Because David is saying, I desire to be in the presence of the Lord. He goes on to say, you know what? I love hanging out in the house of God. Well, I love hanging out in the house of the Lord. I love worshiping Him. Right? And he's saying, it's crazy. I don't even worry about those times when trouble comes because I know that He is able to take care of me. And that He protects me. In fact, when trouble comes, when the flood water comes, He holds me up above the flood waters, out of reach of the enemy. We should be screaming hallelujah. See, this is why we got to have that confidence and that understanding. The Lord is saying, yes, all that stuff is happening, but David says, you know what? Trust in the Lord. Have confidence in the Lord. Continue fellowshipping with the Lord. Don't let what's going on in your life or in this world break that fellowship between you and the Lord. We were created for fellowship, Dan. When Adam and Eve was created in the Garden of Eden, they were created for fellowship with God. They said, the Bible says that they would walk and talk stories. That's the heart of God for each one of us. And so the way to become a warrior of the Lord is to realize that we need to have constant fellowship with God. We gotta read our word. We gotta pray. I mean, you gotta sit down. Just like I was saying, just sit down. You just sit down and pray and just say, Lord, I love you. Lord, I just wanted to say, you are so stinking good. I wanted to just try a love kiss right now. I wanted to say that, man, if it wasn't for you, I don't know where I would be. You know, and it's crazy. And you know what I've learned? The Lord likes to hear things like, my life kind of sucks right now. I need your help. The Lord loves this fellowship of honesty that we are wearing our hearts on our sleeve. Too many times we come before God and we want to kind of cover up our nastiness, our struggles. Yet the Bible says, the Lord sees right into the inner marrow of our bone. He sees right into the soul of us. You know, I've learned to stop pretending when I walk in the presence of God. I right off start squealing on myself. Lord, you know I'm a scrub. You know I did this, and you know I did that, and you know that I really wanted to just come over here and not act like anything was wrong, but I am not having it. Right now, I'm struggling. I didn't even want to come and meet you today. I just squeal on myself right away. Right? And, you know, I said to him, you know, anything like I'm kind of retarded. But then what I realized is what I'm telling the Lord is I don't want to pretend that you're not who you are. And so by me just straight out saying that I'm here and this is what I'm feeling, it allows me to go before the Lord with an open heart, knowing that I'm not being fake. You see, the clue to developing a heart of a warrior is to be prepared for trouble before trouble comes. Too many of us, we went through this Christian life, this believer's life, right? God is good, right? We say the same, right? God is good all the time. Yeah? But it becomes almost like a cliche. Because when bad times come, we don't say that anymore. But shouldn't we even say that in the valleys? Shouldn't we say that when our relationships isn't working, our kids acting mental, our boss acting mental, right? We're struggling, right? God is good all the time, and all the time God is good. And that saying is a saying of confidence that regardless of what is going on, my God is good, and He's good all the time. All the time. Right? And so we need to understand that we have to have this confidence. See, that's the secret of becoming a warrior of God, is that, you know what? I'm ready for the war. How am I ready for the war? I have unbroken relationship with my God. We talk all day long. Right? Oh, I know something I can share. I'm going to give the young guys. How many of you guys like to play those game things? Yeah? Nobody raised their hand, but I know them. And how many of you guys would admit you guys spent hours on that game? In fact, the last time I heard, they went to the early mornings. Right? God bless you. God bless you. When was the last time you went to an early morning conversation with God? Now you were thinking, all those young people. Or what about the other guys who are watching TV? What about the other guys who are playing on their phone? I mean, those things are awesome. Enjoy it. All I'm saying is that are you in constant fellowship with God? You go, I work. Well, work is still not an excuse to not have a constant fellowship with God. There is no excuse in the whole world for us to not have a constant fellowship with God. We need to be praying. We need to be talking. We need to be reading. need to be listening. Because when the battle comes to you, you should have already been trained with the senses of the Holy Spirit to recognize the devil before he shows his face. Too many Christians getting sidelined. Their focus is somewhere else, and before you know it, they find themselves far away from God. And may I be honest with you, it is so much harder to get back into the presence of God. You know why? Because we want it to be where it was before. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. It's not going to happen like that. You know why it's so hard? You need to rebuild the love relationship again. Unbroken fellowship is necessary to become a warrior of the kingdom. See, we cannot wait for the battle. We need to be prepared for the battle. The devil will attack your marriage. The devil will attack your finances. The devil will attack your family. The devil will do anything that he possibly can to make you lose your focus. We need to be ready. See, the reason so many believers get beaten up or discouraged is that they're not conditioned for the battle. And because they're not conditioned for the battle, guess what happens? They become casualties instead of victors. It's sad when I see a brother or sister become a casualty because they wasn't ready for the battle. Remember, the Bible tells us this is a real battle. This is not a game. This is not, playing around. The devil is serious about pulling you out of heaven. You see, you may not realize this, but when you surrendered your heart to the Lord and you gave your life to the Lord, your position in heaven is sealed. And nobody else can take you out of that position. The Bible says that the love of God is in the hands of the Lord. But the only person that can take on themselves out of the presence of God is us individually who make a choice to turn away from God. And so the devil doesn't have authority over us, but he does have the capability to make our lives miserable, distract us from the truth. And if he's lucky enough, long enough, so that when the return of Jesus comes, we're not ready to be called into the position of spending eternity with God in his presence. It's a real battle game. This is a battle here just to live. And we get caught up on this and this. We should be worried about things here. But more than this life, we should be worried about what's going to happen to us for all eternity. What are we doing to make sure that we are sealing the deal? Meaning we're not allowing the enemy to come in and steal the joy of the Lord. My mom used to say this. Whenever you fight, don't throw the first punch. My dad, however, would say, whatever you do, throw the first punch. And it was kind of weird, right? Because my mom was, don't be the troublemaker and all this stuff. My dad says this, don't tell them that. He goes, if they tell you throw the first punch, he goes, throw the first punch. And we're like, what? He goes, don't ever say, tell them throw the first punch. He goes, because it only takes one punch to knock you out. And so I've learned this, and I started to read scripture, and I started to realize that It's no different when it comes to us and the enemy. We can't wait there and allow the enemy to throw the first punch. We need to be ready to throw the first punch to the enemy. That's why we need to recognize the enemy. We need to know that he's there, and the minute he's there, we punch him. Right? The minute gossip starts, guess what? Punch it. End it. The minute anger comes up, punch it. End it. Right? We're against that anger spirit. It should be a gentle spirit. We're against that spirit of being vindictive. We're against that spirit of getting even. We're against that spirit of, everybody goes, oh no, that's the spirit stuff. No, think about it. If walking our daily life is a battleground, then we need to be aware of the tools the enemy uses in order to entrap us or get us to be unfocused and walk into enemy territory. That's not being judgmental. And if you see somebody who's being a whiner, and that's a Christian, they're going to get mad at you, but tell them what you're whining for. But we serve a God that's good, and that all the time He's good. So why are you crying? You know why they're crying? They lost focus. So now we've got to help them to be refocused. Remember, it's about the confidence of who we serve. That in the midst of a storm, we can trust the Lord to calm the storm. We don't have to get evil. The Lord is going to take care of that. Right? The Lord has a plan that is so beyond us that we're not going to be able to understand it. But we have to trust Him. And the way we trust Him is letting Him be God. But it doesn't mean that we don't learn or train for that time when we will face the enemy. We need to train. If we're going to be warriors train how to fight, how to protect themselves, and how to stand for what is right, and not allow what is wrong to come into the camp. So we need to be people who learn the ways of the enemy. And the minute the enemy starts to get close, we don't wait till he gets face to face. We start knocking it out right away. You don't belong in this area. You see, the problem is that we wait till the enemy gets too close, and then we find out all of a sudden we got sucker punch. Oh, I didn't see that coming. Well, you saw it coming. It wasn't ready for the battle. You see, as a warrior of the Lord, and you have this, when you have this confidence, there's no hesitation. You see, as a warrior, when it comes to defending and guarding your position, your area, your group, you cannot hesitate. Hesitation can lead to casualties. When it's time to respond, you've been training for this, then you need to respond immediately, because the lack of responding, the one moment of stalling, somebody's going to get hurt. And in this spiritual warfare, you're going to get hurt. And if you get hurt, guess who's affected by that? Your family, your children. You see, the enemy is not stupid. He's going to hit where it hurts the most, and where it's going to be effective. And so we need to be ready for that. You see, we cannot think that this is a game. You know, if this is a war. We need that war mentality. You know, you guys know how I seen them on the game when they're playing that game, right? War, I saw that thing. I mean, you cannot hesitate. This is what it is. As a believer, I cannot hesitate. I need to be confident in my faith and what God will do. I'll stand my ground, and the minute anything comes towards me, in the name of Jesus, step back. And I'm not standing there fighting my nails, thinking it's happening. I hold my hand in victory and say, it is done. It has been spoken. I'm not naming and claiming. I'm claiming what has already been named by God. And He says, you have authority in the name of my Son, Jesus. He tells me in the Word that I am victorious. right? I'm not claiming anything on my own. I'm claiming what He has already named for me to claim. Does that make sense? Proverbs 27, 6 through 7. Then I will hold my head high above my enemies who surround me. As a sanctuary, I will offer a sacrifice with shouts of joy, singing and praise. Check it out. I will offer sacrifices with shouts of joy, singing and praising the Lord with music. Or songs. Oh, sorry, that's studying Proverbs. I'm sorry, songs. I'm getting excited. I like scream like a girl over here. You know, Psalms 27, 6 to 7, right? And it says that I will hold my head high above my enemies who surrounds me, right? So he's being attacked. Think about it, man. You know, he's surrounded, and he's not getting nuts, and he goes, I'm going to start fighting, right? It is at his sanctuary, talking about the house of the Lord. I will offer sacrifices. Now, check out the sacrifices because it's so important. He's offering these shouts of joy, singing and praising the Lord with music. Again, you guys gotta understand that there is power in the worship of the King. Alright? Hear me as I pray, O Lord, be merciful and answer me. Right? I love it because David is just being so honest with the Lord. He goes, you know, Lord, I'm being surrounded. He's probably saying, I'm getting scared. But I'm going to sing and praise your holy name. And the reason I say he might be a little afraid, because at the end he goes, hear me as I pray, O Lord. Right? Be merciful and answer me. Right? He says, you know, Lord, I'm kind of scared, but I'm trusting you. So will you hear me? Here's my prayer. Right? And so he's in the house of the Lord and he's worshiping and he's revealing to us that there is a major part in this unbroken relationship with the Lord of being in his house of worship. You know, I want you guys to understand this. People get all nuts and go, oh, church. There is a command for his people to come into his house to worship him. You know, we're here to give him the praise and the glory. We're here for the audience of one. And, you know, yeah, it's cool that we get to hang out and say hi to each other, but the one sole purpose is to come into his house and honor him. Right? You know how it is, right? You walk into anybody's house, you kiss them hi, you tell them, hey, just wanted to let you know I see you. Right? And that is what we do. When we come into the house of the Lord, I see you, and I just wanted to worship you. And the Lord starts to smile. He goes, thank you. We honor you. So, David, this wonderful warrior of the Lord, is a warrior of excellence because he is faithful to the house of God. He's faithful to coming into fellowship with the Lord. He wasn't wishy-washy with his attending the house of the Lord. Right? And he wasn't ashamed to place his needs before the Lord. You know, I love it. I love the fact that the Lord wants to hear my good and my bad. He wants to hear it. He's a loving Father. He wants to know everything that's going on in me. And although he knows, right, because we get kids and we know what's going on, but isn't it an honor when you just come before when the kids, okay, like for me as a father, when the kids come before me and goes, Dad, I just want to tell you that, and you know, you act like you don't know, but you know, and then your heart starts to leave, is like, oh man, he honored me by sharing that with me, but I already knew, but he chose to share. That's the same way God feels about us. Now check this out. Psalms 27, 8 to 10. My heart has heard you say, okay, come and talk with me. And my heart responds. David responds now. Lord, I am coming. Do not turn your back on me. Do not reject your servant in anger. He has always been my helper. Don't leave me now. Don't abandon me, O God of my salvation. Even if my father and mother abandon me, the Lord will hold me close. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Right? You see, God said to David, seek my face. Right? He goes, come, talk with me. And then David's response is, I'm coming, Lord. Right? Does that kind of sound like weird to you? That kind of makes me jealous. Because it tells me that David had such a good relationship with the Lord that they had this dialogue with each other that, you know what, I heard the Lord say this. And then I said, Lord, I'm coming. I don't mean to offend anybody, but how many of us, because I think the Lord said this and I think the Lord said that, but yet the Lord says in Scripture, only ask and you will receive. Knock and the door will open. Seek and you will find. The Lord doesn't say He leaves us in doubt. But are we truly at this place of fellowship where, you know what, Lord? I know your heart for me. I know what you can do for me. And I'm going to stand my ground until all that you have said about me come to pass. Regardless if my enemies are standing around me, surrounding me, I know this. I have to be victorious. I have to. Because He said it. And it's not bad to say, Lord, I'm still scared. I don't know what to do. I'm confused. And this is when you're probably going to hear the Lord say something that you're probably not going to like to hear. It's going to go something like this. Be still and know that I am God. That means do nothing and wait. Isn't waiting the most hardest thing for us to do? We need to realize this about the purpose that we're created. Because God is really giving some straight talk here. And He's saying, I really want a deep relationship with you. I want a personal relationship with you. And so He's talking this way with David. And I want you to hear that the Lord wants to say the same thing to you. He says, hey, I want a deep relationship with you. I want to talk stories with you. Right? Amen. I go, all of us guys, the Lord say, no, I want to hear you. Tell me what you have to say. In fact, Scripture says that when we speak out, He hears us and He answers. And I don't know if that does anything for you, but it does a lot for me, knowing that the God who spoke stars into the places and created galaxies has more than enough time that He desires to sit with me and hear what's going on with me. That just, I get overkill with that joy. Right? God desires closeness with us. And I've learned this. He'll never leave us abandoned. Never. The things may not happen the way we would like to see it happen. But one of the things I've learned is that although it doesn't happen according to the way I want it to happen, I always see it happen in the way that He's glorified. And I always come out the winner on that situation. Always. I don't break even. I come out the winner. It's amazing what God does. The key to victory in spiritual battles is a constant, unbroken relationship with God. We need to have this fellowship with our guys. Okay? Our final journey developing the heart of God, God's warrior, is to learn how to live or stay on a straight path. Psalms 27:11. Teach me how to live, O Lord. Lead me along the right path, for my enemies are waiting for me. Our society today teaches us that there's really no wrong way to live. right? As long as you live nice and you do this and, you just don't be a troublemaker and all that. But, the values and morals, or even the traditional values in our societies has been torn down. I just been watching the news and, something is, I don't want to get all caught up into this, but one of the things I heard on the news is that now they're going to be looking on trying to pass a law where you can choose to put your gender on your license without actually having, if you're going to go to a sex change or anything like that. And I'm like, I'm like, no, if you're a guy, you're a guy. That's what it should be. But if you're a guy, you can go and say your name is Marie, and then they got to put it on the license now. And I'm like, that's ridiculous. There's so much more on that, and that's just, one of those topics. But we know what is right and what is wrong, and our society tells us just so long you live a good life, it's okay. It's like it's okay to do drugs and do this just so long you're not bothering anybody. No, it's not okay. We need to realize that the law that God has is there for a purpose, and we need to listen to that. We need to follow that. You see, we tolerate all these things that isn't right, and then we wonder why our society or our nation is so corrupted. Now, I believe that this mindset has led to this weakness in the spiritual warfare that we're dealing with the enemy. We're trying to we're convinced that our values are out of date. That, that's how it was before, but, we're different now. One of the things I heard from one church, which really kind of threw me for a loop, was we're going to start accepting gay people into the church as being okay. So I had a talk with this pastor, and I don't go out advocating anything, but we were just talking, and I said, what was the purpose? And the purpose was because the numbers of the church was decreasing, and by allowing this, their numbers in the church would increase. And I just couldn't comprehend that. You cannot make something wrong right in hopes of making something better or trying to increase. There's so much more other things out there that we can add to the list. But as believers, we must desire to live a good life. Right? We cannot cheat because, they would cheat, so I would cheat. That kind of stuff, that's nonsense. We have to learn to walk and live in the standards of God. And when somebody else is doing something wrong, we cannot justify it for us to do something wrong. We need to stand firm. Psalms 27:12, do not let me fall into their hands, for they accuse me of things I've never done. With every breath they threaten me with violence. We need to understand that when we choose to live this moral life for God, this upright life, people will make fun of you. Right? People make fun of me still. Oh, holier than thou. And some of them come from my own family. Oh, holier than thou. And all of a sudden, my God's priest and all this kind of stupid talk. Right? And people will be cruel to you. Talk smack, and they're going to say these things because they want to get you to give up walking to the Lord. They want to make you part of their plan. Right? Because if you're doing the same thing they do, and guess what? Then we're all cool. But when you're doing something right and you're pointing out the stuff that they're doing wrong, you are a problem. Because you're making them acknowledge that what they're doing is wrong and making them convicted. we in no way again supposed to compromise the way we walk. We're supposed to be ready for people to make fun of us. I'm not saying that it doesn't get irritating, right? I get frustrated and irritated. But their job is to attack our faith. We must learn how to not divert from the plans of God. What is God's plans for you? I have great things in store for you, right? And when we read about great things, we have to see it through the eyes of God. A lot of times we get materialistic. The great things is that the Lord is going to give you a life that you are so content and so blessed with. It's not going to matter if you get $1 million in the bank or one penny. What's going to matter is that the Lord provides for you in such a way that you are so content that if anybody was to ask you how rich you are, you would come and say, I'm the richest person on earth. But your account is broke. I'm the richest person on earth. Why? I have family. I'm loved by my family. I serve a good God. He loves me. I love him. And I have a place sealed in eternity for me in the presence of the God I serve. I have a mansion waiting for me. All the wisdom and knowledge, all the authority, all the power that's in the kingdom of God waiting for me. There's no sickness, no crying, no pain. You see, we must learn to stay on the straight path. Don't let people distract you. Don't let what other people have distract you. Learn that what God has placed before you is what God has for you, and we need to be responsible for that. God's ultimate plan is to spend eternity with you and me. And Satan hates that. How did David deal with this? Because it's so important. Let's read verse 13 of chapter 27, Psalm 27. I would have lost heart unless I had believed that I would see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. And David said, I wouldn't have lost if I wasn't focused and understanding that this confidence I had in God was good. That I'm able to stand here right now and know that God is good to me. In the midst of what's going on. So what if this is happening and that is happening? You know what? That's not your battle. Your battle is to stand in the presence of God and allow Him to heal you, to take care of you, to give you wisdom, to give you knowledge, to give you strength, to continue to be a tool to bring Him glory. And we are the byproduct of that blessing that pours out of His glory into our lives. Right? The byproduct is this blessing upon blessing. This confidence. You see, there's a good and right way to live, and there's a wrong way to live, and we need to make that decision on what we're going to do. But I got to tell you, your decision determines the type of heart you will have as a warrior of God. The way we overcome society is constant demand to compromise. It's crazy because it's found in verse 14. This is the part that's kind of hard. It says this, wait on the Lord, be of good courage, and He shall strengthen your heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord. This is coming from David. After all that David had gone through, he trusted the Lord to take care of him. He was hunted down. He was just not in a good place. He went from the palace walls to cave walls. Trusted God, allowed God to fight his battles, stood his ground, kept his confidence, and at the right time, God placed him back in the walls of the palace as the king of Israel. crazy, crazy stuff. I think it's really important for us to understand that saying we have more than conquerors. I want to ask you a question, and this is where we're going to close the message. And this question will cause you to recognize what kind of heart you have. Okay? You guys have to share this in your mini church group. And it's actually just asking, do you have the warrior's heart? If you are not sure, then I really would ask that you would press into the message and not just listen to what you got, but go home and start dissecting this and hear what God is saying to you. Because right in this Word of God is the tools that is needed, the instruction that is needed to make us warriors of God. I love this, right? So every time, a lot of times when there's wars going on in the Old Testament, you'll find that they do something really crazy. Call out to the priests, right? To pray and to worship. And isn't it crazy that the Bible in the New Testament calls us the holy Lord priest of the Most High God? It is our duty. It is our responsibility as priests to position ourselves in a way that we are tearing down the gates of hell. That we are not allowing the enemy to take any more ground in our family, in our work site, right? In our community, in our nation. It's time that we start to build this heart of a warrior. We need to be that way. Let's pray.